So this is scary, but here's a cool story about New York City. The city and the state were actually very concerned about climate change, and they were concerned about hurricanes and extreme weather events. Now, you don't need to be concerned about climate change to be concerned about extreme weather, but there tends to be a strong relationship between them. It may be very interesting in this, with the current president we have, to see whether they're interested in sparing us from storms, even though they don't believe in climate change. I guess the early signs of getting rid of all the weather generating data and technology tell us we probably shouldn't be optimistic on that front. But New York was really concerned about it. So here's what they did. Before Sandy hit, they evacuated the cars from the subway system and moved them to higher ground. They went in underground and they pulled out as many of the electrical wires that they could so that when the salt water came into the system, it wouldn't corrode the lines all that much. And the water came in as predicted. They got it right away. They pumped it out. They replaced the lines. In about 5 days, much of the system was up and running again, okay? And every day that the New York City subway system is down, there's X billion dollars of economic damage, okay? It's an expensive thing to get wrong. Now, across the river, anyone here from Jersey? Yeah, there's 20 times more people from Jersey here, but nobody's admitting it. So it's just, because what happened is that half the people who said they were from Manhattan actually grew up in Teaneck, and they just don't want to say it. So now they've already raised their hand as Manhattan, and they're embarrassed. But, okay, so here's what happens in New Jersey. The governor doesn't believe much in climate change. He's not inclined to think it's a serious thing. He doesn't do a lot of work prepping the cities around New Jersey or the state to deal with an emerging crisis. And so as Sandy approaches, the New Jersey Transit leaves its cars right next to the river. And they have $110 million of flooding, destroying the cars, which means not only that the taxpayers of New Jersey and, ladies and gentlemen, all of us in this room, wind up paying for the new cars, but also it takes much longer for New Jersey to bounce back and get the commute right again. So everybody suffers from that situation, right? You didn't even have to order the bridge closed. The transit system went down, right? So that's a story about what can you do if you take seriously climate threats before they happen, right? It's not the whole big story about mitigation, but just little things that you might not think about that actually, it makes a difference what the leadership is, okay? But don't let me get carried away with the idea that New York did everything right, because this is a $1 billion subway station that went up at the bottom of the Battery about a year before Sandy hit. And guess what did not survive Sandy?